welcome to Fittest. I'm Megan. We will be doing 30 minutes of stretching for the whole body. We are sitting in the mermaid's position. That means our knees are stacked a little bit on top of each other, and then knees and feet are all over to the right. Right hand coming on the ankle, and then we're finding our posture, shoulders down, coming up and over. We'll work through a series of stretches. Our goal is to do some moving stretches that will require a little bit of strength through the abs, a little bit of control, and then we'll do some holding stretches and we'll do some relaxing stretches. And generally we hope to feel good. Here we go. We'll come up and over to the other side, keeping the belly button in on these moving stretches as you hold here for a moment. And then it becomes dynamic. We're coming up and over and up and over. Checking seatbelts are on, that means belly button in, shoulders down, relaxing and lengthening through the spine. Last one like that, and then we're coming on up, and we're going to take this top knee a little bit behind us. You have zigzag legs now, a little bit of a bigger zigzag. If the mermaid is too much, you can always take your legs out in front. Otherwise, just sitting here is also a stretch. So we're here. We'll come up and over a little bit deeper into that lateral bend there. We're picturing that we're lifting the bottom rib away from the hip bone, and we're lengthening all the way through the ribs and the arm there, lengthening through the fingertips even, holding it here. A little bit of a movement into the neck, taking the chin and the nose, looking down that arm. And then we'll come up and over to the other side, allowing the supporting arm to bend at the elbow, reaching the arm long, and then the chin and the nose are aiming for the inside of your elbow, holding it here for a moment. We're going to move this into a rocking stretch, so we're coming on up. Right arm crosses over and holds the hip. Left arm comes over the head and holds the head. And we're up nice and tall, having a little rock. And we're opening out, and this time we're coming up and over into your side bend, and then keep on going with this top arm till you're down on your forearms here as well. Abs are in. We're on our forearms, and we're reaching the spine towards the side wall here. Letting the hips stretch, the back stretch, should feel nice. If you don't really feel enough in the stretch and you'd like more length in the arms long, and bring the forehead down. Relaxing here. We will hold it here for 20 seconds. Breathing in, breathing out, and we'll come back up the way we came. First the forearms, check your shoulders, your spine, your abs, and the other arm coming on up and over. Nice big stretch here. Great, then we're coming on up, and we're shifting so that this knee comes up to the ceiling, and then the leg lengthens out next to us. This foot can come on in, down to your inner thigh, and we're taking the knee and the toes. They're both heading for the ceiling there. Checking our posture is in front, and we're breathing in, breathing out. One arm is reaching down the leg, the other arm is reaching up. Nice and high here. And we'll breathe in, breathe out for our side fold here. Again, we're really thinking about lengthening the space between the bottom rib and the hip bone, aiming for length there, and lengthening this top arm as well. Really reaching. If you'd like to, you could take your peace sign fingers there, and they're going to reach for your toe. You're rotating from the waist, reaching for that big toe. The back hand could be on the floor behind your leg, it could be on your leg, or reaching for the pinky toe, the little toe, and you've got your stretch here. Shoulders away from the ears, maybe even helping to pull the toes back towards your face, working deeply into that hamstring. You'll hold this one and relax here. We'll come back the way we came, back into our side bend, into our reach, and then opening out, sitting up nice and tall, both fingertips, both hands coming to the shoulders, super tall through the spine before we bring the chin down. Stretching the entire back of the spine. And we're opening out, and this time the other arm on top, fingertips find the shoulders again. Check posture first, then we take the chin down. The face comes up, the arms come out. This knee will bend and come on in. Knees are together, feet together, and then soles of the feet touching. We're opening out into our butterfly stretch. Elbows gently press the thighs open. You can hold your feet or your ankles. You could open the feet out a little bit like a book, as if you're reading the bottoms of your feet like a book. That might feel nice. Find a nice position for your feet. Have a little wiggle and rock into it. Check shoulders, long neck. Holding it here for a moment. From here, we'll go into our mermaid on the other side. So the knees come up together, they're stacked on top of each other, and now knees and feet are all going that way towards the left. Left hand on the left ankle, right arm is coming up and over. Find your mermaid. Here you can find the position and adjust into a wiggle, shoulders. Finding your position, holding it nicely here. Breathe naturally in your stretches and think about lengthening. Any areas that will lengthen, we want to lengthen and open here. And breathing in, breathing out, coming over to the other side, reaching, and we'll take this into a moving stretch. It's a dynamic movement, side to side from the waist. You could push through the floor a little bit, springing through the ligaments there, or you could really lightly touch. Great. The next one we'll hold a bit longer here. Coming on in and reaching, looking down the arm and looking up. And then we're coming up and over. We're going to keep on going. The weight comes into the right hand. We keep on going, we turn. We could be on our forearms here. Shoulders away from the ears. Think about your posture. Pull in the seatbelts. Could stay right here if that feels like enough for your hips, your back, your waist. If you'd like a little more, breathe in. Breathe out and reach the arms longer as you bring the forehead down. And then we're holding here for 20 seconds. Breathing in, breathing out. We'll work our way back up the way we came. All the way up and over. Nice big stretch here. Oh, that might feel great through the waist. Another one up and over here. And then we're coming in for that rock. Left arm reaches across the waist. Right arm comes up and over. We're cradling the head. And then we're rocking here. Gentle rock. If this elbow and the shoulder is coming down and you're tempted to cuddle, come on up so that you've got that full stretch through the shoulder, the rib cage, and the waist. Have a nice rock here. And then we'll open on out, and we'll take this left leg out straight at a diagonal, half of a V. The foot is coming in, down your leg a little bit here. Check knees and toes, leg is coming on. They're pointing up to the ceiling. Here we go. Left arm is reaching down the leg, right arm is reaching up. Holding it here. The hand could be on the shins. It's wherever it comfortably goes for your stretch. Wherever your leg is reaching, long along the top of the floor, but not popping up. If it's popping up, come back up a little bit to keep that leg down. That's where we want to be for the stretches. Reaching and reaching. Breathing in, breathing out for your side bend. Holding it here. We can add to it by taking our peace sign fingers here. They come up and over. We turn, so we're facing the leg. The fingers grab that big toe. The other hand could be on your shin or the mat, or your pinky toes, working the toes back towards your nose, working into a nice deep stretch here. Experiment with where you can reach comfortably. We'll go back the way we came into our side bend and up to reach again. And then up, and we're opening on out. We're bringing the knees up together, then they're both coming up. And we're ready to shift on down onto our forearms here. We're coming in, bringing the knee to the nose, stretching the spine. Here's our moving cat stretch. One knee coming in, other knee coming in. Walking along, moving cat. Breathing out, breathing in. Pull the abs in as you go. Last two. There's one. There's two. And then feet come down and we're rolling ourselves down onto the mat, hugging one knee in here for a moment. Actively use the strength in your arms to bring the thigh closer to the torso. There we go. We'll swap, breathing in, breathing out. There's your swap. Really hugging in. Should feel glorious in the lower back and hip. And then bringing that foot down and that leg out long. You can use this bent knee to help guide yourself over and onto your front. From here, we're working ourselves into a position that gymnasts use for watching TV. So you're on your front here, and you're bringing one knee up towards your elbow, but you're keeping your elbow near you. You're not bringing the elbow to the knee. You're seeing, hands are stacked, forehead on your hands. You're seeing, where will that elbow wiggle to? Trying to keep the hips towards the mat. You could use your hand to help. Where will the knee wiggle to? Find your position here, and then you can watch TV. You could come up on your hands to watch TV. We'll come on down and we'll do the other side. You're bringing the back knee up towards your elbow. Where will it go? We're trying to keep the hips towards the mat and we're relaxed onto the floor while we're wiggling that knee up and up. It should feel nice in the hips and lower back. Find a nice comfy position. Maybe you're comfy here with a little neck stretch or lower. Hold it here. Wiggle a little bit. And we're breathing in, breathing out. We're lengthening the legs. And now we are kicking one heel towards the glute and down. Little kick in and down. We're working ourselves into a quad stretch. So the next kick, you're going to kick the heel towards the glute, squeeze the glute, press the hip into the mat. You could be like that. Or reaching back to find the foot or ankle, and then breathing in, breathing out. Pressing that hip towards the mat while squeezing the glute to really stretch the quad. You'll swap legs. Other side, kicking in. Find the squeeze, find the press. You're pressing your hip down so much that the thigh will come up a little bit off of the mat, and there you've got your stretch. Adding to it. Your quad stretch. Breathing in, breathing out. We're releasing that one, hands under the shoulders, pushing ourselves up, curling up like a cat. Before we sit back, heels are going to meet the hips. Hips are aiming for the heels, gluing onto them, holding it here, elbows down. And you're in a little crouch stretch here. Really push the hips back to the heels. If they're popping up and you're coming forward, either come into a position where your hips are over your knees. If you have any injuries, you might need to be here, stretching. Or if you're popping up, really bring them towards the heels and aim back and down with the hips. And then bring the elbows back towards your knees. Really feeling that great stretch in the lower back and hips. Once you've got the hips glued to the heels, then you're ready to experiment with your upper body. Come on up, lengthen out the arms. Keep bringing that chest towards the thighs, hips towards the heels. If your arms are long and you'd like a little more, breathe in, breathe out, and bring the heart and the forehead down the middle to rest here, stretching here. Holding it here for a little while. Wiggle the hips a little if you need to. Into our lat stretch, we've got one arm up and over to our side, other one up and over the body, fingertips walking away. Keep those hips down, glued to the heels. Holding it here for your lat stretch, walking the fingertips and the arms away from each other. We'll breathe in, breathe out to come to the middle, and we'll go to the other side. Other arm up and over, top arm up and over. Find your stretch, walking those fingertips away. Resting here. Breathing in, breathing out. We'll come back to the middle. Onto our forearms, one foot out to the back. And now we're actively stretching the toes, the ankles, and the foot. You could be on your forearms here, pushing the hips back as you push the heel back and forward, or come on up on your hands if you prefer. You're working through your ankle, your Achilles tendon, bottom of your foot, and your toes. Ooh. Maybe they make a little bit of a snap, crackle, and pop noise. And then we'll swap other knee in, other leg out. Seatbelts are on in the waist. And we're gradually working through that foot and the ankle. Let that feel nice after a little while. Might feel great through the toes, letting the toes really press into the mat and stretch out. Meanwhile, shoulders are getting nice and warm. Keep stretching through the foot and the ankle. You've got it. 2 and 1. Then we're bringing the knees in and apart a little bit. And now we're circling the shoulders over the wrists, stretching out our palms and our wrists. 2 times that way, and the other way. 2 and 1. Then we'll sit down and roll through the wrists a little bit here and the other way. Hope that felt good in the joints of the hands and the feet. Shake that out a little bit. And we'll come into our forward fold. For these, our goal is to keep the legs on the mat, nice and flat. So belly button in and check that you're sitting like a human letter L. Knees and toes up to the ceiling. Head is over the shoulders, over the hips. And there we go, pointing the toes away and then back towards our face. Away and back to the face. And for fun, how about one and then the other? Really warming up the backs of the legs there. And when you're ready, knees and toes are up. We're breathing in. Breathing out, we're reaching forward. And then a little bit more forward. And a little bit more. I'm aiming forward rather than down. Keep the legs on. They might be tempted to relax a little bit, but we want them on as we really reach forward. Find that stretch in your hips and hamstrings. If your knees are popping up a little bit, gently bring the knees, the backs of the legs back to the floor, even if it means you have to sit up a little bit. That will be a deeper stretch when you're ready. Breathing in, Breathing out, we're reaching forward and then down. Your hands might be on your shins, ankles, toes, could be thighs. It'll feel like a really nice sensation of lengthening through the legs and releasing tension in the glutes, the hips, and the lower back. If it feels like agony at all, or if you find yourself wincing in any way, then that's a little bit too far. Stretching will come gradually, and it will come millimeter by millimeter, rather than suddenly. Any kind of sudden movements or painful movements in stretching can cause injury and can be counterproductive. So, as we've been sitting here that little bit longer, you might have noticed that you can wiggle your fingertips a millimeter further, letting time and gravity help with our stretches. If it feels nice, relax into it and take one elbow towards the shin and then the other elbow. Joints love a bit of movement in stretching. Last 2 and 1. Oh, come on up. 1 foot flat, other foot flat. Then we're coming back onto our forearms here, lifting the heart to the ceiling, really reaching the up out of the shoulders before we come on down, all the way down here. Then, nice strong feet that could come into the body a little bit. We're going to lengthen through our quads here and our hip flexors. You're squeezing the glutes, putting the weight through those strong feet and ankles evenly. Come on up. Squeeze the glutes to the point where you can feel that stretch in your hip flexors. If you would like to add to it, clasp the hands underneath your bridge and walk yourself up onto your shoulders. Squeeze the glutes. Enjoy this stretch here. We'll release the hands. We'll lower the spine and the hips on down. And then we'll bring the thumbs so that they're touching each other underneath our hips here. We're bringing the knees together and towards the thighs. They stay together, and now the feet find the ceiling. Our goal is to make an angle here with the thighs coming closer towards the torso. You could keep your thumbs together under your hips. Relax here. Maybe have a little hinge from the knee. Add some movement here. Maybe let go of the legs so they're not touching each other. And walk along here for a little bit of movement before we bring the legs back together. Hold the thighs, calves, ankles, maybe toes if you like, and have your pike stretch here. I'm aiming to fold my legs towards me, keeping the spine and the hips aiming towards the mat. So not bringing myself up like that, but aiming for length through the hip joint all the way to the backs of the legs. It'll feel nice. It's a relaxed one. We've got our toes there in the air. They come towards the nose and away 4 times. Towards the nose and away. Last 2 and 1. Then you get to stay right there. I'm going to wiggle so you can see what I'm doing. And so that you have the space, you're in your pike stretch. You're going to guide the legs open so they're a letter V. Could be a narrow letter V. And you're working your legs towards you. Or how about gently guiding them open, 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 until you find a position where gravity is helping to open out your legs in the letter V. Squeeze the quads, squeeze the kneecaps, and then gently either press down if that feels good, or support the legs if you prefer. If you'd like a little bit more, flex the feet, push the heels away, and grab ankles, calves, or toes. And come into your stretch here. Lovely V stretch. We're going to stay here for 30 seconds, so relax into it, wiggle into it, and find the positions you like. You can always add movement, circling the ankles and toes, and then the other way. And we'll keep on gently pressing open. So great for the back, especially if you've been sitting in a desk all day. This one will feel lovely. Keep holding. Start to push the heels away, then the toes. We're keeping movement going for the 30 seconds. Last one there. We're bringing the legs together, back into your pike, bending your knees, and have a ball hug right here. Keep on hugging. I'll come round so I can see you. You can see me. There we go. Nice tight ball hug. And then have a little rock side to side. From here, we're going to lengthen the spine into the mat. So I'm thinking of my lower spine being on the mat as well while I hug in, and then I'm bringing my chin in as if I'm squashing a little grape under my chin. I know it's not pretty, but there we go. Nice stretch for the neck there. And then we relax. One foot down, other foot down. Knees and feet a little bit wider than the mat. I like to hold my hips. And we're guiding the knees over to one side. Relaxing there. Then we're taking our fingertips and reaching up overhead. Try not to arch the back. Keep the seatbelts on here. And we're letting gravity bring the legs into that stretch. Holding it there. Hands back on the hips. We breathe in. Tighten the seatbelts to raise the legs. And then we're breathing out, taking the legs over to the other side. Just where gravity takes them, but controlled gravity because you're still pulling in your lower abs. Fingertips come on up, reaching up ahead, and then we relax. Holding it here for a moment. Hands coming back to the hips, breathing in, breathing out. We've got the knees back up, feet walking back onto the mat, and we'll do our crescent moon stretch on the floor. So we've got one leg out, other leg out. We're taking the legs as wide as the mat, maybe a little bit wider. Then you're taking your arms up as wide as the mat. You're like the letter X on the floor. You're taking the back leg and you're picking it up so that the ankles cross. When you do that, keep your hips flat on the mat. So your body is flat and you're looking up. Then your back arm is coming up and it's holding the front wrist. And now you're stretching and reaching the arms and the hands away from the legs and the feet, getting that full side stretch. Keeping the hips on the floor. It's tempting to come up like this or to roll, but we want to be flat on the mat and then really stretching. Come back to the middle. Here we go with the letter X. We're lifting up the front leg, crossing the ankle, but keeping the body on the mat. Make sure that when you did that, you didn't go like this. That would lose the stretch. So we're going into that position where the ankles are crossed. We're on the mat. The other hand comes up to the wrist. And then we're breathing in, breathing out, and we're reaching and stretching feet and legs away from the shoulders, the arms, and the hands. Reach, reach, reach that millimeter more. And then come back to your letter X, holding it here. Now we're stretching the letter X. Toes and fingertips reaching in opposite directions. Tighten the kneecaps, tighten the quads, reach, reach, reach. Lift the arms, tighten the belly button. Go, go, go. You've got it. Keep stretching. And then relax. Then we're shaking the hips a little bit. Hands could come to the hips, shake them side to side. Legs onto the mat closer. Relax and shake the hips a little bit, side to side. Getting rid of tension. One foot flat, other foot flat. Fingertips reaching long, and then we're wiggling the shoulders up. Lifting a little wiggle there. You can lift and drop the shoulders. Getting rid of tension there. And then we will bring one knee in, one leg all the way up to the ceiling. And here's our final quad stretch. Pushing the heel to the ceiling, toes back to the face. Sorry, hamstring stretch, holding the back of the quads or the calves here. Lovely. Hold, hold, hold. And then we'll swap, bending that knee, foot down, other knee in, big hug. Push through the heel. The heel pushes to the ceiling. Find your position to stretch your hamstrings. aiming for the straight leg. If you've got even a tiny little bend there, it'll take out the stretch. So really squeeze the quads and kneecap to find that straight leg for your stretch. It will feel deeper and zingier. You'll really feel that one. Push the heel that little bit more if it's too easy. Then we're bending that knee, that foot's coming on down, knees together, so we can push ourselves up, all the way up into the butterfly stretch from when we started. Feet together, knees opening, soles of the feet together, and we're leaning forward and a little bit down, gently pressing the thighs open with the elbows. Ears away from the shoulders, and we're walking the fingertips forward here. Just to the point where you feel that tension in the stretch and then that warmth of the stretch lengthening. It should feel good. You don't want to force any stretches. They will come, and they will come naturally as we do stretching regularly for short periods of time. That's the best way to increase the range of motion that you have at your joints, rather than long periods of time stretching and then really long gaps in between. Aim for little and often, which by coincidence is the same way that I eat chocolate, little and often. So same for stretching, a little bit regularly, even regularly throughout the day will really help with keeping the joints lubricated and increasing the range of the stretches that you can do. Come on up, bringing the knees together, back to our original mermaid position. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you feel great. I look forward to stretching again with you soon.